All right, welcome back to the podcast, episode 127 of When the Kids Go to Sleep. I got two special guests today, the studio masters, Danny and Blake. Put your hands together and roll that intro.
When the kids are counting sheep, when the kids go to sleep, dreams and memories, when the kids go to sleep.
It's about time we get a new intro.
Yeah.
What do you think about, like how they make intros for Shaytards if we had some...
Yeah, you guys want to make some When the Kids Go to Sleep intros? I'd love that. Yeah, I love when you guys make intros because there's so many talented people out there. We could have some funny stuff. I guarantee you there's a rock and roll band right now. It's like, hold on, Shay, check this out. That's what they're doing right now.
Did you see on Jimmy Kimmel the other night that Ed Sheeran was on there and he was playing like heavy metal songs but with his taste, like his style?
He was, really?
Yeah, he was playing like Slayer and
Oh, really?
Iron Maiden, but he was, and even singing their lyrics, but it sounded like something that you would like walk your dog in a park with. It was just like really nice beat.
Mellow jam?
Music. Yeah.
Jack Johnson vibe.
Yeah.
What's a heavy metal lyric in a Jack Johnson vibe? Give us a little taste of that.
Give me banana pancakes.
No, that's the other way around.
Oh, yeah.
That's heavy metals. You're singing Jack Johnson in heavy metals. I can't think of any lyric to any song I've ever heard right now. Dang it. Yeah. Give me fuel, give me fire. Yeah. Give me fuel, give me fire. Give me that which I desire.
Scoobity-bee-bop.
Ba-da-bop. All right, so these are the Studio Meisters. Like I said, we are here in the hills of Idaho. We built this studio. We built this desk. Tim Deegan showed up. Tim, show your beautiful face. Tim's behind the camera. There he is. There's his left hand. Tim showed up, and I was like, you guys should build me a desk. So Tim and Danny went to work and put this desk together. Blake designed the studio. You can check out some of his behind the scenes. He did some studio updates. I'm glad you did that throughout, so we have... Because this thing was, dude, when I first walked into this room, it was way different than it is today.
A lot of mouse poop.
There was mouse poop. The first time I walked in here, there was dead animals because the owner before had like animals all over the wall. So like, it was crazy in here. It was like a shooting factory.
I did not know that.
And now it's a shooting factory.
Right.
Get it? Get it, guys, like a camera, like I'm shooting a video. Like not again, guys. You got it? Everybody picked up on the joke that I was trying to make? Okay, great. Okay, so, this desk, it's still not finished, right? Like, I want to drill 2 holes right here, what we were talking about. Because I feel like this is pretty comfortable with 3 guests, but what if we want to have 4?
Yeah.
And it's a big desk, so if it's just me and Colette, we don't want to be like way out. So I think it's cool if we like drilled 2 holes right here and had microphones coming out. And then when we had 2 guests and they can just be on the outside, we could have 4.
I see what you're saying. So maybe like a third in and a third in.
Right.
So there's 2, and then you can always boom in from the side.
That's what I was going to say. When we have guests, we'll just boom those in from the side. And then when it's just me and Colette, we'll kind of be here in the middle of the table. Right. But yeah, we still want to finish the desk. Plus, we're still working on this area over here. Tim has an idea to build a grand piano computer editing desk. We'll see.
Whoa.
Yeah. Got big
I
plans.
saw a picture of it.
As
Yeah.
long as it's functional at the same time. So, yeah.
You never know with those piano desks.
Yeah, so it's coming
It looked
along.
pretty cool. Now I feel like we have to do the piano desk because they said it.
It's a challenge. We need to add some more studio stuff. Do you think we should put it like right over our heads, or like how high do you
No,
put
I'd suspend them like about a yard down. That'll help a lot. I mean, as you can hear, the sound isn't perfect. We still have a little bit of echo here going on. We did put some dampening up, but it's not all the way there yet. So.
And here is the best part about it is the AC is currently on.
Yes.
It is very cool in here. We have the China balls, the lights. How's the lighting? Does it look good? Are we lit?
It's all right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
soft.
Because we're going to have some other, should we get other lights too, or do you think this is enough?
We could, and we could also mount these so we don't have to worry about bringing out C-stands all the time.
Every time. Yeah, I think we should just
Those
hang them.
outlets right there.
That's a great
Outlets
thing.
above us, and there's can lights there too. But
Are those white? We could turn those on. Anyways, it's a perfect setup. We're gonna keep tweaking it and get it, just right. And we want to be able to be rolling these podcasts out the AC being on right now, and I don't think it affects the audio any,
No.
is money, dude.
Yeah, that's
Because it
huge.
gets hot in here when you're doing podcasts, and I'm like all sweating.
Yeah.
Dude, when we did the Terry Crews podcast,
Oh, yeah.
he was
He
dripping.
was sweaty when he got there.
Yeah, he's a high energy guy. Terry Crews. He's gonna get your packs. Just flex those packs.
Yeah.
But when he left, he was soaking wet. I'm a sweaty guy too, man. I hate when I sweat. So when I go into a studio, that's one thing I loved about Tom Bergeron. When I went on the set of America's Funniest Videos, he requires it be 60 degrees in there.
Wow.
Like it is freezing cold at America's Funniest Videos. Well, he's not the host anymore. I guess we could talk about that.
It's
Pissed. These guys knew, like when I was auditioning for America's Funniest Videos, we were on a group Haytel, and I was telling them I was auditioning and everything, and I thought I got it, man. I felt I need to tell that whole story. Maybe we'll do a different podcast, but that was a really fun experience. But the other guy got it. What's his name?
I just know him from the,
Alfonso
yeah.
Ribeiro. Yeah, I was like, yeah. You know him from Fresh Prince?
Yeah.
Who's Carlton?
Yeah, he was Carlton. He did the Carlton, the famous dance. That's why he won America's Dancing with
That's
the
like
Stars.
cheating. That's not.
I know, yeah. If you know how to do the Carlton,
You can't just pull out a
dance.
calling card at the last second. Like,
Oh yeah, and I can do this dance. So he is the new host. I did get to audition, which was really cool. But yeah, anyways, in their studio, it's very cold, so it feels good in here. I'm
yeah,
excited.
I'm used to. We won't say any names, but there's some studios that are very hot.
Yeah, and they're sweaty. Yeah, Maker Studios, I think you're referring to. So we're pumped to have us back. We're gonna, like we said, get some more audio dampening stuff in here. But it's cool to be able to record these. And then, of course, we're gonna have the audio studio over there. So we'll be doing some music as well.
Yeah.
And we want to start shooting some skits. What do we think about that, Dan? About shooting some funny skits. What if we got some comedy? We don't know much of it. We found a little bit of it. Danny has a little right here behind his ear. But what if we started doing skits that we shot and made here in the studio to put on the Shay Carl channel? That's the ultimate goal, is that we could just come up here with Casey and we just think of something that we think's funny and just make something up here in the studio. And that's a majority of the reason why we built it. Blake and I have been making videos together for 5-6 years now. And we want to get the Shay Carl channel back up and going. And that's why Vlog Entertainment Studios is here to make some stuff.
Yeah, that's some of the best. When I think back through maker stuff. Yeah, there's just there's so many videos that's one of the best parts about working with you. You really you give me a lot of creative freedom, and then typically you're happy.
Yeah.
There's never really been, there's been a couple things, but there's never been oh, I hate that.
Yeah. No, I like what we make together. I think we have pretty similar, ideas, and it's fun just to come up with ideas. That's what we were doing. When I was fat and then we shot that deer thing and all that stuff, it was well, what should we do? We just we had a bunch of props. I think literally that's how we decided to make that. We're let's go look in the prop room. We look in the prop room. There's a gun. There's a deer.
Bam.
I got an idea.
Video.
Yeah. There's a samurai sword. Grab that. We'll need that. So we would need to start doing that here. We need to start getting props. Well, we have outside props. We got guns and trucks and horses now.
That's the fun part,
that's the
making
reason
something
why
from nothing,
What if we wrote and scripted a Western ranch hand
I think that's
series that we shoot out
Dude,
here?
we'll shoot it like a legit Western and make it look serious,
What
but
if
there'll
we
be
did?
whatever the spin is, but cinematically it will be a Western.
Okay, what if it's an old time Western where it's me and
Handlebar
Danny are
Mustang,
cowhands and we're out on the horses and you're shooting dialogue while we're on the horses and we're my wife wouldn't let me kiss her last night, or something like that. And that's what do cowboys talk about on the plains while they're rounding up their horses? And
Yeah.
then we just have this little dialogue and we do these little skits. And it's me and Danny are good cop, bad cop, but it's we're on the ranch. And then things happen the cow got out and we'll have we could shoot adventure scenes.
And now that we got horses,
we could
the
say-
production value just went
Way up, dude. And we get the helicopter, dude. And
Yep.
we're the helicopter over the horses and we're trying
I
to
want
catch a
a
horse.
slow motion closing shot during sunset where the copter is following you on the horse, riding into the sunset.
Oh yeah, we got to have our sunset shot riding into
With
Dude,
the
let's-
copter chasing him. That's the shot.
I say we just make a high production riding into the sunset shot video.
Just have it be a short.
Like that's it's like a little just like maybe like I kiss Colette and I get on my horse. Like there's a little tiny dialogue and I get on the horse and then that's it. That's like the whole thing.
That's the whole video.
It's like a bunch of like angles of me riding into the sunset.
And that's YouTube. You can do that.
That's cool. Like let's just build that end shot. You know what I mean? The goodbye right into the sunset on the horse shot. And then something funny. Yeah. Okay. So that's the kind of stuff we want to start making up here at the ranch.
Like if you bought the DVD of this movie, it would be like Sunset 1, Sunset 2. Like it's just an hour and a half of alternate sunsets. Or
I could say this in the sunset. We're losing the light. Oh, great.
No, it'd be sweet as if we had this sunset.
This sunset and this sunset. So that's the goal. That's the plan. And we're close. Like this is the first piece of production that we're making here, but we're legit. We have power, we have water.
Yeah, a lot of people were getting a little bit like kind of, I don't want to say impatient or antsy, but they're like, oh, well, why is it not done yet? I mean, the guts of the studio is what takes the longest. Now we just got to add the bells and whistles, you know, the green screen or whatever, the stages, and we're filling it out now. But the hard part, the time consuming part is.
Dude, like digging a well, for instance. Like if we needed a shower, because if we're gonna be dressing up like cowboys, we might need some cowboy face paint we put on, and we might get real dirty up here. So we got a bathroom, and we can go pee in the potty. So we had to build a well. So yeah, it took a long time to get the infrastructure ready.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we're back up and running, and we're going to start shooting stuff, start making stuff. You'll see Danny and Blake in a lot of it. I think we should do that.
Yeah, I think that's a
should,
great idea.
I'm in.
We need to get
Now,
somebody
I'm going to go home and go through all like the Sergio Leone Western, like A Fistful of Dollars and stuff like that, and
get some shot ideas.
do my homework.
Gonna get on Amazon.
It's a shame that we're not shooting because it's so green up here right now, and those sunsets are so amazing. And we have the camera equipment. You have one of those, like Tim saw that vest in there, the Steadicam vest. Dude, there's so many cool shots we can be getting.
I want to wear
Tim,
that.
if you want to become proficient and play with that, by all means. It's that Steadicam is great. But if you want to change the lens, you have to completely rebalance the whole thing.
Dude, did you see Devin Graham just came out with his own signature Steadicam?
Yeah. I like those are a lot. It's not what we have is like the vest thing and it straps on and you look like RoboCop by the time you put the thing in. But Devin has that glide cam and those are great. He's
good with it too. He's master glide camera. Congrats, Devin. That's awesome. Got his own signature glide cam. I once got my own signature flip cam. I was going to get a Shay Carl vlogging camera, and then Cisco closed flip camera down last minute. I was so PO'd. Jeez.
How long have they been gone now?
It's been forever, man. I do that flip camera. I made so many videos on that flip camera. I have the very first one that I got at YouTube Live. Dude, I got so many slivers yesterday trying to catch those cows.
That was a trip. We could talk about that a little bit.
Dude, yeah, what was that like for you seeing that yesterday, Blake?
Well, considering, I mean, being from Chicago and then moving to LA, and then this was like polar opposite, but it was... I couldn't stop laughing.
The look on your face after that cow charged you, you're like, what the hell? It hadn't crossed your mind that could have happened.
No, I was like, it's a cow. It's not a bull. Like, oh my God.
He's coming right at you. In my video today, I put it in slow motion, dude. And it's like he was like sizing everybody up because we're so stupid. We all surround him in a circle, and then he just comes right at Blake, dude. It was hilarious.
he's just really anti, vlog camera.
He did not. He's like, I don't want any of this on the internet.
Yeah.
The only thing he was missing was like the Gladiator Stadium because he had a Challenger.
He was doing that yesterday. He was doing the whole thing, man.
Yeah,
they named him Dirty Dave because he was beating up on these guys.
Yeah, he was a pain. But what was crazy is like we were all just shooting, like taking pictures, and then I had my phone out. I've got the picture of him jumping the fence the very first time. Yeah, like I shuts off right after that because we were like, oh, they all just jumped, and so we put it in there. I just shut it off, but. Yeah,
Dude,
it was.
90 seconds they were in the pasture. and they jumped.
I think that's being generous. I think it might have been like 35.
Right. You're probably right.
They didn't stop walking.
Yeah, they got out of the trailer. They ran around. They were running and like never even stopped and like didn't even miss a beat. Just like the cow jumped over the moon. And the other one, and all five of them. And I looked down at my dad because this was like our grand scheme, right? Like me and my dad are like, we're gonna get this fence, we're gonna get these cows, we're gonna be cowboys, it's gonna be great. I look down at my dad, I'm like, and he just shakes his head like, oh my gosh. I'm like, the cows are out.
I have worked with you a lot, but I think yesterday I finally saw you in full form when you're driving that blue pickup truck without a windshield and you're edging the cow out. And I'm just riding with Danny laughing. You know, Danny's actually, I feel like you've done that before. Have you?
What?
No.
Herding
Rounded cows?
Yeah. You pin that one real good, you know, backing up, reverse, forward. And
Yeah, we were just going for it. But, like I just,
Dude, I was maxed out on that thing because I was trying to cut around the cows like, "Wah," and it was spinning out because it was like, Gavin was loving it. Gavin was in there with me and he's just holding on like.
We're bombing through the field. It was like a rock in a pop can just getting shook.
It's like,
I'm
Everything
really
was
impressed with
bouncing.
that blue truck.
dude, that blue truck kicked some butt. We beat that truck up when me and Sam shot that video. I crushed the windshield. It was been sitting over here in the freaking snow all winter long.
Yeah, without a windshield.
Yeah,
just
without a
getting
windshield, soaking wet. Tim pulls it in, resuscitates old Blue, and man, he made his rounds yesterday.
Yeah, it was
he put his time
a rude
in.
awakening for
Yeah.
old Blue because
But update, we have 4 cows in the pasture right now as we speak. That's great news.
we're supposed to have how many?
5, but listen, 90% ain't bad. What's the percentage on that? 80. Okay.
But
I'm
that's
not good at
pretty
the math.
it was first time. You know, everybody.
So we do have 4 cows and 2 horses all confined in the purposeful 3-acre section that we plan to have them in. Now we just got to get that one more. But we got our buddies coming tonight? Are they coming still?
They'll be here.
We're going riding tonight. So we got 2 other guys with horses going to come up. We're going to saddle up Cash and what's the other one's name? Chuck. I forget Chuck.
I keep wanting to call him
That's because
Craig.
you don't even care about him.
Me and Chuck, we don't care about each other, but me and Cash, we're soulmates. I hug, dude, and I am allergic to that horse because I'm allergic to animals, and Cash is like a big one. He's a horse. Maybe you've seen him. Anyways, so I'm very allergic to it, but we're going to go riding tonight to try to find the 5th cow.
I feel like you should have an allergy tolerance built up. I mean, those are big animals, but if you took like even 20 of the animals that you have anyway.
We got 5 cats. How many animals are on this place now? Poor Colette.
There's a lot. There's a
a lot of life we're sustaining up here. Anyways, so speaking of sustaining life, let's segue into the last 10-minute section of this podcast. The studio's back. You guys know Blake. Blake's been with me for 5 or 6 years. Met him at Maker Studios. Now he's out here in Idaho. We're making stuff together. Danny, Key Grip Dan, is Mr. Everything. Builds stuff, soccer fields, desks, studios. So these guys are here helping us make cool stuff we want to make for you. But a common theme on this podcast, and I'm hoping to have some future guests to talk about this, specifically guests like Jason Silva, who's a futurist techno prophet, you could almost say, talking about the solution to the death problem. These dang bodies of ours die. And there's some people out there who think very realistically in the next 20 to 40 years, give or take a decade, we could quite literally have death be an elective procedure, where technology will have advanced to the point where we will inject these small, like red blood cell size, very powerful computers into our bodies that will help us solve the death problem. We will, maybe print out new hearts if your heart fails. Through technology, we'll be able to create this. And I know this sounds maybe blasphemous to some people because who are we to mess with biology? But it's happening. 50% of your body can be biotechnics right now. Half of you can be a robot and you can still be alive and a conscious human. Think about the guys that come back from Iraq. All of their limbs are biotechnics.
What about overpopulation?
With people not dying?
Yeah.
We have to leave the earth, I think.
I mean, because that's already a concern now. I mean, even if you look at the population chart over the last 100 years, it's exponentially, like, it's just screaming doomed.
Well, because, if you look at the graph, because people are dying less, right? Yeah. Because...
and there's more kids being born than ever.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, and then especially if we get to the technology where people can live forever, what is the point where... And I guess my question is, how many people could this earth hold if we stopped using fossil fuels? Like, I really believe solar, people like Elon Musk are going to change the entire game. It's not going to be far-fetched in a decade from now where you're going to go to Winco or Costco and you're going to grab a battery that you plug into your wall and you climb up on your roof and you put a thing on your roof and it powers your entire house for like $1,000. And we're not going to use gas. We're not going to use oil. All this stuff will go to the wayside. So all of our fossil fuels and natural resources will be more abundant because we will not use them as much. And we'll use all this free power that is raining down on us every day and we'll power everything that. So eventually, we're going to have to stop having kids like in the next, who knows, 500 years. If we get to that maximum capacity, we'll know it. But I think the capacity will grow as we use our fossil fuels less and less.
Yeah, I mean that the idea, and then obviously the technology is you've transcended. I mean, we've both talked about that. So, and that's the technology growth is also growing exponentially. So
right at the same time, it's an interesting thing. I think the answer to that is I think people will leave the earth. I think there will be people on Mars. I feel like there will be people in ships, just maybe people that just like, I'm peacing out. I don't want to be on the earth anymore. And they'll just have these little substations. But if you look at the technology that exists, like if you know about these things, if you've looked at the study, if you know about Moore's law, this is just the simple law that 30 years ago, a computer was the size of this room. NASA had the biggest computer in the world, the most expensive, powerful, super genius computer that was $100 million and the size of a building. Now, today, 30 years later in 2015, this is way more powerful than anything the United States government had. Can do way more technology-wise, communication, computing-wise, and look how small it is. Mm-hmm. At that same path, that same rate of growth and shrinking, these red blood cell type size computers that are more powerful than this cell phone, and this device right now contains every single piece of human knowledge that ever existed. Ever. Anything you want to know, languages, history, stories about the Bible, dinosaurs, anything you can think of is right here. Every piece of information that we have yet to gather as a species exists in this little box.
And now they've shoved it into a watch.
And now it's on your wrist. And next it's on your sunglasses. And then next it's going to be a contact lens. I think that's the next step. You're going to have you're going to buy the iMac contact lens.
The II.
The II. Dude, you watch. That'll be the next thing. And here's what's going to happen.
Trademark, copyright, don't take it.
Right now. It's our idea. Apple contact computers, those are ours. These three dudes in Idaho called it first.
And the $100 million price tag, free with a 2-year contract. That's how far we've come.
That's what's going to happen. Anyways, imagine waking up, right? And you're like, tap the side of your head, man. And all of a sudden your emails pop up right here in your eye. Here's the crazy thing. When those computers go in our bodies and they can run a diagnostic on your body and they can scan every piece of matter that's in your body, right, and send you an email and say, you need 3.5 almonds, a half of a banana, and a 1/4 cup of orange juice, and that'll bring your body to the perfect homeostasis.
Yeah, it's kind of like when a mechanic plugs in a car to the computer, you can see exactly what's wrong with it. I mean, essentially, it's the same.
And like your potassium's down 12%, have 2 bites of a banana. Yeah. You're like, and it's like perfect. Mm-hmm. Homeostasis, because the computer can run the diagnostic on your body. You have the computer contact lens that you're like just scanning through Instagram. You're like blinking.
That's bugging me out because it's so close to your brain.
Yeah, it's right there, and that's what I'm saying. And then that's the next step, is they're going into our body. Here's like guys like Jason Silva talk that everybody's worried about us and them, like the artificial intelligence. What if this becomes smart, self-aware, and it's fighting against us? This is us. We created this. We made this. This is an extension of our existence. The Hubble telescope is the human optic nerve in space looking at Mars. We are looking at these other planets because we put our eyeball into a machine and put it out there so that we could see farther. Like that's stuff that we did, and now it's in the elbow of that growth, and we're advantageous to everything we've created. So you're like, well, that hasn't happened in the last 30 years. Well, you're forgetting all the stuff that we've got and learned and information in the last 30 years is now sitting here. We don't have to relearn that. So we can use all that for the next step. And that's why it's exponential growth. It's not linear, like 1, 2, you count to 30 and how many steps? Linear growth takes 30 steps. But if you count 30 steps exponentially, guess where you're at step 30?
Clear up there.
1
Way
billion! Way up there.
You have to wear oxygen.
That's how high you are. 30 steps exponentially is 1 billion. So that's the kind of growth that we're experiencing through technology. And it's happening. Like, you can say that this is crazy talk and stuff, but you can look at the numbers. You can look at where we've come from and where we're at and say, if we at least go from this in there, we're going to be there, but it's going to be way faster.
So staying on that point with technology, while it's great and all, are you afraid of it?
Yeah, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's the next world war, you know? I think the next world war is going to be on people disagreeing about this topic, about putting computers in your body, and if it's right, if God wants you to do that.
It's essentially the nuke, but
They'll have
the
like,
technology is what you're fighting over.
Instead of being pro-choice, you'd be like pro-tech.
Right. That's
like
that.
anti.
Those will be huge voting fights. It'll be on biotechnologies allowed in hospitals and stuff like that. So here's where it gets crazy, because there's going to be a crazy like punk rock subsection of people that are already doing this. There's people putting computers in their bodies already. There's dudes injecting it into their skin. They're computing things. It's happening whether we like it or not. And what's going to happen is these people are going to be so much the advantage, because if you miss an update on your iPhone, right? And it's like your iPhone can't do certain things because you didn't update it. That's what's going to happen with people that have this technology in their bodies. They're going to be, all of a sudden, we're going to see dudes that are going to be able to run 40 miles an hour. Like, whoa, how can he dunk a 13-foot hoop? Because he's injected these
Michael Jordan chip.
Michael Jordan chip, you upgraded, son.
I mean,
You
but
can dunk on 15 feet now.
I used to have the Mark Wahlberg one. And then, I could dunk a little bit.
But not as much as you wanted to.
Yeah.
like that's worse than steroids.
That's what I'm saying. That stuff's
Or
going to
is
happen.
it?
And if everybody's doing it at that point, and everybody's putting the technologies in their body, if you miss an update, like imagine the next update comes out and all of a sudden everybody's that much smarter, that much stronger, and you're like, I'm not going to do the update. Well, you're like a peon, natural selection. You're not rising with everybody else now.
So do you think like armies will be the first to experiment with that?
Of course. You kidding me?
Yeah.
If you're like a fan of popular science and you follow these Twitter feeds of people who are always like Jason Silva and these futurists, Ray Kurzweil, guys that are working at Google, and they're on the cutting edge of all the new stuff. There's rich dudes that just have money and brains that are sitting around right now figuring out ways to fix stuff. Like figuring out ways, like Elon Musk and his buddies. Those kind of people, they're going to change the world. They're going to take away the power from the government, I think. I think guys like that are going to be like, listen, we're going to take the human species into the next echelon of development and that's where it's going to become a war. It's like, are we going to let these guys do this? Can we just let these people run free? People in Japan and stuff, these scientists in Japan, they don't have any moral. I mean, I'm not saying Japanese people don't have morals, but there's testing going on in other countries where they're doing stuff with computers and people and making robots sexual robots, like all kinds of stuff is going on, and it's happening, and it's better, I think, to know about it and talk about it and to be ready for it than to be afraid of it and be like, that's all of the devil, I'm staying away from it.
They went so nuts just with stem cell research.
Right,
Let
think
alone-
about that,
Yeah.
like how big of a deal stem cell research was. Like now to me it's a no-brainer. Like if we could make a kidney from somebody else's skin, like yes. If you want to get into the God thing, that's a whole different issue. To me, I don't know, man. I think God wants us to have all the knowledge possible. I think I've read in scripture that, any knowledge that we attain into this life will be so much better with us in the life to come. So if there is a God and all this knowledge exists and we are coming into it, I think he wants us to. I don't think that, I don't know. I mean, I guess
If you could,
we'll see.
if you could take a 3D printer and make a heart for this baby that was just barely born, and it's got every chance going for it, except for it needs a rebuilt heart valve, they could hurry and do it, or they could wait, roll the dice, wait for somebody to die, or an
Do we do it?
animal. Or,
Yeah,
they put
that's the
animals.
question.
You can put like pig valves.
Pig valves.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that I think the technology will become where we'll be able to build a heart. And people will say, well, you shouldn't do that because that's acting like God.
Then there'll be like bumper stickers in 100 years that are, my son,
Built the first heart.
my son, would you let your son be checked on by a mechanic school nurse?
Like a robot
robot nurse.
nurse.
Not me. Not for me in my house.
Here, and you think about just the movies like The Matrix and all these movies. To me, those people have seen this coming for a long time. I'm just getting keen to it now, where I'm starting to read all these articles and look at this stuff. And it's like, I think people have seen this coming for a long time. And that's why a lot of these science fiction movies exist, like The Matrix, because people are like, this is what's gonna happen. iRobot, like that's not far-fetched. Everybody that's gonna have like their own personal robot.
Yeah.
It's like an iPhone, it's like an assistant to like clean and do all that stuff for you.
It's almost like something, if the government says no and doesn't allow it, these cults will form that are going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then it's like the war happens between, is it them versus the government, or where are you getting, like...
I think the first war, maybe the ultimate war, and the war that people are afraid of in science fiction, is the war against the robots and the humans. But
yeah.
first, I think there's going to be a war again with humans and humans about the robots.
So the use of the technology.
Yeah, I think there's going to be humans saying we shouldn't do this. And we're going to physically stop you by force
Because the people
from
won't
doing this.
stop. The people
Yeah,
that want to know this stuff,
It's
that-
gonna
like,
happen
if they're
It's-
driven.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Guys like these guys, Elon Musk and stuff, that have money, they're gonna make it. They're gonna
but
come up with it.
They have those guys all have the right frame of mind, like what they want to do.
They're
good.
helping,
Yeah,
yeah,
these guys
like-
are good guys, but
Right.
there's gonna be some people that would even try to just make regulations so you couldn't even
But
experiment that way.
maybe there should be regulations though. Like maybe that's the debate, is maybe we should say, okay, we can do some of this, but let's be smart. Let's not just let it explode. Let's try to, and I guess even then you're trying to like hold life in, which you never can do because it's gonna breed anyways. But like maybe we should just say, well, there needs to be some guidelines at least that we all like follow so that we can, in case something happens, that we can contain it. I don't know. It's a big question. We're not going to solve it here on WTKGTS, but it's interesting to think about, and that's why I would like to formally invite Jason Silva to come here and teach us about the future.
There you go. You heard it here.
Shots of Awe. If you guys don't know who Jason Silva is, I'll give him a little shout out now. Check him out. If you want to hear more about this stuff, Shots of Awe, he talks quite a bit. And then if you want to see the documentary that kind of started all this, well, at least for me, is Transcendent Man. You can get it on the internet.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
well worth it. That's a good one. And I actually stumbled upon Jason Silva through you, I think. I don't know if it was in something related. I don't know. But yeah, you get lost in YouTube, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's how I found it. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Interesting. Yeah. Dan's
That'd
been
be sweet
listening
if
to
he
him.
came. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, big fan. And to me, for people who don't believe in God and people who don't believe in religion, to me, guys like Jason Silva is the new religion. Because what's religion about? Religion is about salvation from death. Religion is about this relationship with, well, it's different, I guess, obviously, but ultimately, people are afraid of dying. So hopefully there's a God that loves us and creates us, but it's not far-fetched to think we as people living on this earth have seen each other dying for thousands of years. And it's like, oh, where do we go? None of those people have ever come back to talk to us and said, hey, it's okay. We're all right after you die. We're still going to live. So with this new future technology stuff, it's like the solution to death. Guys like Ray Kurzweil, he's afraid of death. He doesn't want to die. And if he can use technology and use all this stuff that they've invented to solve it, that's their hope. Guys like this, I think, is the hope to solve death, and so that we don't have to die.
I think that they definitely answer hope in that way. But there's just Jason Silva and the type of people that we're talking about. They've thought things through with. There's answers to it. There's just alternate answers. So yeah, it could be for somebody that's very religious minded.
And why can't both exist? I guess,
yeah, I mean,
because to me, that's where I stand. Like, I believe in both. Like, I wait for the day for Jesus to come, because to me, that's the other solution. Is like, either we're all going to become robots and live forever, or Jesus is going to come and that whole thing's going to happen, and then we won't need to become robots, because it's like, how does it happen? Like resurrection. If you're a Christian and we believe that our bodies will be resurrected to a perfect form, that has to happen in a certain way, right? Like, if we really do live forever and these corruptible bodies that just mesh into the earth as worm food, if they are to be resurrected as Christ was and we're to come together, what are those materials? They're actual materials. Like, maybe it's a carbon alloy, and maybe we just never imagined that. Or like, maybe it's a magical bone formula that we don't know, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like, as a Christian, what is a resurrected body made out of? There has to be specific matter, and what is it? Is it a carbon alloy? Is it, what's that stuff they put on cars to make them really light and fast? Graphite? Carbon fiber? Like, what if your tendons, like your ankle, like, if you think about inside of your skeleton, your tendons, what if all that becomes like this stretchy carbon fiber when we live forever?
Tendons are just muscle dye number 4. If you look on the back,
that's the right ingredient.
It's really interesting that since the beginning of religion, they've been trying to separate church and science. I mean, the church killed many scientists along the way to keep those secrets from getting out. And it's like, why is it so hard to maybe possibly consider that science is God?
That's what I think. That's how God to me is the greatest scientist ever. Like, God's up there with the coolest iPad you've ever seen, just like putting elements, like drop this element here. Like,
but he's always got the next version.
Yeah, he's always updated. He's always updated. But I think that a lot. I think that God is the greatest scientist, there is. I mean, because I believe it, as a Christian, that Christ created this world, and maybe there's a way to do that through technology, and because it's just like meshing elements, like this goes over there, this matter goes over there, and now we had a volcano. I just built a volcano.
Baking soda and vinegar.
That's how you do it. You can make your own volcano. Do you see, there's a kid who made a laser recently. This is like what I'm talking about, like with people and technology. This kid, it was on the internet, it was on the front of, he made this like laser shotgun where he got all these lasers, and he could just like light almost anything on fire with this homemade laser, this kid in his garage. You think if a dude like that can make a laser powerful enough where he just shoots it and it like immediately lights something on fire?
And that's why they don't sell spray paint to underage kids at Walmart.
Right. I mean, any dude that has like a little bit more money and a little bit more resources can make a freaking laser,
That's
right?
crazy.
And it's like, before it's like only the government would have a laser, but it's like now people in their garages can make a laser and shoot something to light it on fire. So that's the future that we're part of.
Alrighty, wow. That we took a direction there that I wasn't planning on going on, but it's cool. That was interesting.
Like right now, if we had like a 3D printer, we could just print another cow.
Dude, yeah, and we'd have 5 cows in the pasture.
That damn cow.
All right.
And religion too, though, like people have heard a lot, like every Bible story. They've heard them all, and even people that love them, like, could hear them every day. But there's just this, like the Jason Silva style of thinking is, I mean, it's intriguing anyway. I mean, even if you aren't somebody that like would think that it's something that you can't listen to because if you feel like it's anti-religion or something, it's still very intriguing and and it's not aggressive either. It's not.
Yeah, it's just I kind of like what if we thought about stuff like this? Might be interesting. Anyways, check it out. We'll leave some links below. You can go watch some videos. Thanks for being on the podcast, Dan.
Oh yeah.
Blake, first time ever. And we've done 127 of these. We'll do a lot more. All right, thanks, guys, for coming on the podcast. See you next time.
When the kids are
make us an intro.
counting sheep. When the kids go to sleep, dreams and